Two study habits that you need to quit. Here's my story. So at the start of this year, I'm in this flat's living room. I'm walking around in circles, and I have a book in my hand. It's a macroeconomics book. I'm basically studying like economics of like India's economy and everything, so that I can write this in the exam. I read it, I read lines, and I've been meditating recently, so I improved my focus skill, and I don't like mind wander when I'm reading something. I read the lines and everything, but it's not coming into my head the way I wanted to, so I can write it for the exam. I'm just reading lines. I'm reading lines again and again, and it's not going in my head. I put the book down, I take a shower and everything, and I come back, and maybe the focus is a little bit better, but again, I just can't recall what I need to learn. And sure, I can recall in the moment, but I know I'll forget it in like an hour. I'm making a huge mistake. First of all, I'm glad that you want to study and improve your studying skill. There are a lot of students out there who don't study, first of all, and even if they do study, they don't really actively search out the studying tactics that they want so that they can get better marks. So it's such a miracle that you're over here learning how you can improve your studying skill, because no one taught us how to improve studying. So I'm going to teach you on this video the two mistakes that you make, that most people make, not just you, on when they study, that they think actually works but doesn't work. Number one, rereading. So this is what I was doing in the story I just told you. Rereading is basically you read the lines, right? You read the lines in the textbook, and you think you remember them by reading them again and again. It's basically memorizing. You're memorizing the lines. Sometimes it could work. Sometimes if you genuinely perfectly memorize each line, it could work. But most of the time it doesn't. The problem is your brain gets used to the lines that you're reading. It's called hedonic adaptation. Hedonic adaptation. If you studied psychology, you might know this, but if basically, more or less, hedonic adaptation is when you see something every single day, or something that's good that you get every single day, that your brain gets used to. I'll give you an example. Think back to the first time you got a phone. Think back to the first time you got the device that you're watching this video on. How happy you were, how new it felt. Maybe it's a phone, right? So you unbox a phone and it looks really nice and you really like it, and you're taking pictures, even though it's a normal camera, but you think the pictures are amazing. You're showing your friends like, oh, I got this phone and everything, right? Within 6 months, you don't feel that happy again. Sure, it's not like you hate the phone, but the initial happiness that you got isn't there. That's hedonic adaptation. At first, when you get something good, something nice, something that spikes your dopamine, you feel really happy. But over time, every single day when that same stimulus is there, which you see the phone every day, you use the phone every day, you see the same friend every day, you play the same games every day, you lose the happiness that you get. That's hedonic adaptation. You don't learn anything. And that's what you're doing when you reread lines. When you reread lines, you're hedonically adapting to the pages you're reading. Now, how can you fix this? You specifically want to do recall. Recall is when you close the book, right? You might have done this when you were young, and you probably forgot to do it now. But basically, you read the lines on the textbook. Let's just say economics textbook. You read the first few paragraphs. You close it, and then just ask yourself, what did I just understand, and what did I just read? And as much as you can, as hard as you can, try to remember and then read out back to yourself with the book closed. Okay, what did I just learn? And then try to understand, okay, this is what I learned, but then I forgot about this. Okay, this is what I remember. And then after 10 seconds, you open the book and then you read that same paragraph again. Really try to understand it, and then close the book and then try again. In the gym, we do bicep curls so that we can get bigger biceps. We do push-ups so we can get stronger, get bigger. We do ab crunches so that our abs look better, they're stronger. Every time you recall the way I just told you to recall, you're doing a bicep curl for your brain. You're doing a push-up for your brain. You're doing a push-up for the remembering muscle. Which, if you think about it, if your remembering muscle is strong, in the exam you'll do great. Because what are you doing in an exam? You're just remembering what you learned and then writing it down, right? So studying is kind of like working out for your brain, and you can do proper exercises with proper form by reading what you do. If you're planning on reading and not doing questions, right? You read the material, you read the textbook, you read your notes, you close it or you put the book away, and then try to recall what exactly you understood. For the first 5 to 10 times, you're not going to be perfect in it. For the first time, obviously you can imagine this. Obviously, you read the textbook, the paragraphs, and obviously you might remember a few points, but you won't remember anything. That's still progress. Then the next time you read it, try to get 1 or 2 extra points. So if you're trying to memorize or understand 10 different points, what you could do is read the 10 points and then close it and maybe recall 3 to 4. Try to see if you can master 3 to 4 of them. Once you do that, focus on 3 extra points and then 4 extra points, and then you got the 10. This is genuinely life-changing. I did this when I was, it was about a year ago. I was doing like a periodic tests and everything. I was maybe like 16 years old. I'm 18 now, I just turned 18. So I was doing this. I made pieces of paper, I made flashcards and everything with my own notes, my own brain notes. And I tried it and it genuinely worked. I did the textbook thing, I'd opened the textbook, recalled it, and I did it. It genuinely worked. I almost memorized it word to word on exactly what the page said. This is very powerful. Number 2, not sleeping. A lot of us think, especially me when I was a kid, when I was a student, and when you're probably a student right now, and a lot of students think that sleep is kind of futile. Sleep doesn't really matter. A lot of students sacrifice sleep so that they can learn a little bit more. That's absolutely stupid. When you sacrifice sleep, you're deliberately, 1, making yourself unhealthier, and 2, backtracking your progress. Why do you backtrack? Because imagine you just study 6 hours a day, right? You study for the 6 hours of today, and then you get maybe only 4 hours of sleep. You just wasted like 4 of those hours. Understand this, you need to prioritize your sleep, especially if studying is the priority. Because what happens when you sleep? It's basically like what you just learned is in the short-term memory. Let's just say you studied like 10 topics today and you remember it. For today, that's in your short-term memory. What determines if that's in your long-term memory is when it's going into your like long-term hard disk in your brain, is when you sleep. When you sleep, it takes most, if not all of what you learned, and if you get good sleep, it'll take basically all of what you learned and then put in your long-term memory to the point where you can actively recall it whenever you want for like weeks or months. So prioritize your sleep. Do not ever like sacrifice sleep for studying, even if the exam is the next day. Sure, cramming is useful and everything, but try to cram up till your bedtime. Make a strict bedtime of like 9, 10, 11 p.m., whatever you can follow for the rest of your life. Basically, if every day stayed the same, what's the time that you can fall asleep every single day? For me, it's like 10. So I can fall asleep 10 to 10:30. For you, it might be 11, 11:30, 12, whatever, and then wake up at a good amount of time. You need to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and if you're a teenager or like a very young teenager, you need to get like 8 to 9, 9 to 10 hours of sleep. You need to seriously prioritize your sleep. A lot of students just throw it away, be like, oh yeah, I don't need to sleep, I can study everything. I studied like I slept 2 hours. And there would be kids in my class who would be like, oh, I slept 2 hours yesterday, bro. No, I slept 4 hours. Oh, I didn't even sleep at all. That's stupid. You're deliberately making yourself unhealthier. You're deliberately giving yourself health problems, mental health problems, physical health problems, and you don't even remember what you just studied. You studied for the 4 extra hours you could have slept, right? Tell me what you studied. Stupid bitch. Obviously you don't remember. It's such a annoyance to see. A lot of like nerds in school will flex that they only studied they studied till 4 a.m. and woke up at 8 a.m. Tell me what you studied then. Tell me tomorrow what you studied. 100%, if you remember it today, you probably won't remember it tomorrow because you got shit sleep. So take your sleep a lot more seriously. Set a strict bedtime, okay? Take some personal responsibility and be like, okay, I'm gonna sleep at 9 or 10 p.m. Just pick a time that you can follow consistently. No need to be too early, no need to be too late or anything. 10 to 10:30 is my time. You can pick 10:30 to 11, whatever suits you. Pick that time and then wake up at the consistent time, sleep at a consistent time and wake up at a consistent time. If you have school, wake up whenever you wake up for school, even on weekends. Keep that consistency. Take some personal responsibility, even if you don't have any hard work to do on the weekends. You'll figure that out later, but right now, you want to keep the foundation, and the foundation is sleep. I have more videos like this on my channel. You can go click this one or subscribe to my channel. Bye.